Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of the Dynasty Fantasy Football Buff. If you're new to the channel, welcome, bienvenidos, that's Spanish. We started this channel for one purpose. Noah and I are in a league together, and we started this channel for one reason, and that's to help you dominate your Dynasty league. And although it's a lot of fun to discuss who's the wide receiver one, Justin Jefferson, DK Metcalf, Devontae Adams, those are fun conversations to have. But when it comes to helping your team, unless you're in a startup draft, those conversations really don't have a lot of impact right now, right? Unless you're willing to bankrupt your roster right now to go get Justin Jefferson, it's not really going to help your team, man. So I get it, right? But the trick to dominating your Dynasty League is to get those Justin Jeffersons, to get those Terry McLaurins before they're a top 10 Dynasty wide receiver. And it's not as easy as it sounds, right? But that's exactly what we're going to do today. We're talking sleepers, man. Our last sleeper episode got over 3,000 views. And in case you guys are wondering, that is an insane amount for us, right? That is a lot of sleepers. So we're talking more sleepers. Hey, have you ever seen that trailer with Kobe Bryant and Kanye West, where Kanye's talking to Kobe? He's like, but I'm the best. And he's like, hey, do more. He's like, how many records do you want me to sell, Kobe Bryant? He says, more. That's the theme of today. How many sleepers? More sleepers, man. That is what we're talking about today. Guys that you need on your roster before they blow up, right? Guys that need to be on your taxi squad coming out of your startup draft, coming out of this offseason, guys you don't want to miss on. And because I love all of you, right? Because I love all of you, check the timestamps, right? We're in the description. I'm going to have marked out where each person is. You can jump ahead to it. But enough talking, man. Let's jump into it. All right, guys, if you're looking to join a Dynasty League, right, myself, it took a lot of effort to get a Dynasty League organized, to find the people who are interested. Subscribe to this channel, DM me on Discord, right? We have a Discord that's also in the description below. And our first league is already almost filled up, right? We're not even doing a startup draft until after May. And I already have like 8-9 guys that are on the waiting list, right? We're going to start up multiple leagues. So hit me up now, get on those waiting lists, because it's just going to be a group of quality guys coming together, starting a Dynasty League. And it's going to be a party. Noah, how are you doing, man? Dude, you're a Bucs fan, man. We just saw Tom Brady win his 7th Super Bowl. How you feeling? I'm sure you're feeling good right now.
I am feeling good. It went as expected, though. So, I mean, if you had talked to me, if you would have talked to me, which you did.
Absolutely.
Talk to me over the past 2 weeks when I found out the Bucs were going to be playing the Chiefs. I was a big Bucs big guy. I said many times, Bucs are going to win big. I don't think the Chiefs can handle it. I don't think the Chiefs O-line can handle what's about to come at them from this Bucs D-line.
That Bucs defense is so nasty. It is so nasty, dude. It's so much fun to watch.
You got to think of it this way.
Yeah.
If you think about Tom Brady as a whole,
yeah.
Would you ever doubt if someone said, hey, Tom Brady 1 year, I don't know what year it was, but 1 year, his team made the Super Bowl and their home stadium was where the game was going to be played at.
Yeah.
You'd be like, yeah, Tom Brady definitely won that game.
Yeah, dude, for sure.
Tom Brady's not going to lose at home in the Super
playoffs.
Bowl.
Yeah.
No. You never get home field advantage at home. And that's why it didn't matter the Bucs were the 5th seed.
Yeah.
Because it was like, as long as we win out, we get our game at home, which is more incentivizing than anything. So, Bucs are awesome. Everything's worth it. Everything the Bucs did to get Tom Brady, as much as I love Jameis, they accomplished what they wanted to.
I like it.
Go Bucs.
I love it, man. Go Bucs, man. Again, I'm a Patriots fan, right? But I'm a Tom Brady fan, right? So I'm not jumping on the bandwagon here, but God, it was great to see him play, right? I'm happy for Tom Brady. As a Patriots fan, I'm happy for him because I don't think he would have won that Super Bowl with the Patriots. I don't think that with that roster, there's no way. Look at what the Bucs did. I'm very happy for him, man. The greatest of all time. It's crazy. That all being said, though, I'm in a great mood because I actually bought Dogecoin today on a completely separate subject. I'll just put that out there. That's how good I was feeling. Like, I'll throw some money at Dogecoin.
Dude, So for those of you that don't know, I work at a doctor's office.
Yeah.
And as I was leaving work today, Doc goes, hey, Dogecoin to the moon.
I love it, man. Dude, that's where I'm at. That's how I'm feeling today. So anyways, that's not why you guys came here, but regardless, I'm in a great mood. All right. Noah and I threw a list together of dynasty sleepers, right? Guys that, again, you need to have on your roster, whether it be through trades, through the waiver wire, through your dynasty startup draft. I don't care. They need to be on your taxi squad, right? And in this episode, ladies and gentlemen, we are diving deep. And I mean deep. Like, we're going to kick it off in the kiddie pool. We'll be talking about one or two guys that everyone knows about. But when I say we're diving deep, I mean, we're talking about those creepy-ass fish from Nemo with the big teeth and the freaking light in the front because it's so dark. That's how deep we're going, man. So we're going to talk about guys that you might have never heard of, right? Guys that are probably on your waiver wire because they're not even on probably most people's radar. That's how you win your dynasty league. Find these guys, throw them on your taxi squad. Maybe they pop off, right? And so we'll kick it off with someone in the kiddie pool, right? Someone that people are excited about, someone that is not that cheap to get right now, but someone that I'm happy to buy high on, and that's A.J. Dillon, right? It's a rookie running back for the Green Bay Packers. Now, is he a sleeper? I mean, we can make that argument again. Kiddie pool, right? This is the high level. We'll get deeper. Don't worry. Check the timestamps if you want to go if you know enough about A.J. Dillon. But, a rookie coming out of Boston College, the man is a physical specimen, right? A physical, go look up A.J. Dillon quads if you haven't already. This man is just a brick of muscle. He is 3 inches shorter than Derrick Henry. So not as tall as Derrick Henry, but just as heavy and solid muscle. I was listening to a pod the other day, and I was like, yeah, man, A.J. Dillon is Eddie Lacy if Eddie Lacy never discovered the cheeseburger. I was like, oh, man, don't do my guy Eddie Lacy like that. They just did him so. Anyways. Didn't have the fastest 40 time in the world, the combine. I don't really care, man. I don't really care because he scored 97th percentile in speed score. And what speed score does, it calculates your speed in the 40 time comparison to his weight. So he's a big dude who can haul ass, and that's important to me, right? And on top of all that, the man's got some impressive footwork. You watch a couple of his highlight touchdowns this past season, and the way he's juking people out is surprising for a dude as big as he is. I really do think that Green Bay head coach Matt LaFleur, who came from the Titans, wanted his version of Derrick Henry, right? And the reason you need to buy him now, the reason I'm buying high right now is because both Jamal Williams and Aaron Jones are both free agents going into next season. And because they drafted A.J. Dillon in the second round, and because they don't have any cap space going next season, I have a hard time seeing a scenario where they keep either of them, right? They might keep Aaron Jones. They might find a way to pay him. Or they might keep Jamal Williams. I don't think they keep both, right? So worst case scenario for the A.J. Dillon owner, Aaron Jones stays. Well, in week 16, Jamal Williams was injured. Aaron Jones played. And in that game, as the backup running back, A.J. Dillon had 21 carries for 124 yards and 2 touchdowns, I believe, against the Titans, right? So, and Aaron Jones still got his 8, 9, 10 carries and 5 targets, whatever Aaron Jones is going to get. That's fine, right? A.J. Dillon is going to get the carries, and on that offense with Aaron Rodgers, it's going to be something that's valuable for fantasy. So, again, I'm willing to pay high for him. And when I say pay high, I mean, he is currently the running back 30 on Fantasy Pros, which kind of shocked me a little bit. I understand that he hasn't popped off yet value-wise because no one knows what's going to happen with Aaron Jones, Jamal Williams, but he's behind James Conner. He's behind Damian Harris. He's behind Kenyon Drake, 27-year-old Kenyon Drake, who's going to be in the committee next season. Give me A.J. Dillon over every single one of those guys. Noah, are you as enthusiastic about A.J. Dillon as I am? What do you think happens with him just in 2021?
2021?
Yeah. I
think he's going to be a solid contributor. I definitely don't think he's going to be the lead back.
Sure.
Because this is kind of my new stance. Unless if you have like a bona fide, holy moly, you got Saquon on your team, or you got Christian McCaffrey to hand off the ball. I really don't see teams using one back all the way. And I think teams are going to look towards the Cleveland Browns situation. Yeah. And I think teams are going to start emulating that, as in you're going to have a power guy and then a guy that's still power but third down as well. Yeah. And I think A.J. Dillon's going to command first and second down.
Absolutely.
Because in the red zone
and goal line work. maybe.
Yeah, in red zone, he's who I want. I watched AJ Dillon. I was on the sideline for the game. It was when I was working with Florida State.
Oh yeah,
the football team, and I watched AJ Dillon.
Oh hell yeah!
And this dude, I was like, I looked at him and I go, for comparison, when we played Clemson, when we hosted Clemson at home,
yeah,
I looked at the Clemson warming up and I go, oh, we're gonna get smoked because I go, those are grown ass men.
Yeah,
I go, we just got a bunch of puppies, unfortunately. AJ Dillon has that same look to him. When you look across the field, you go, okay, who is he?
Yeah.
And he ran with authority. His yards after contact have to be pretty solid. No, I love, and the thing is you're going to see the Packers, obviously Aaron Rodgers is going to Aaron Rodgers, but you're going to see the Packers continually wanting to run the ball.
Yeah. That's what Matt LaFleur wants to do, man.
Exactly. And so I definitely think, I think you could see AJ Dillon being a guy, and then you could even see someone like I'm trying to think of who could be a free agent that would fit well. That's not Kenyon Drake, or that's not Aaron Jones.
That's a good question.
You could because that's the question you got to ask yourself. Well, who fills Aaron Jones's role?
I think Jamal Williams does. I think that's.
And I think so too. Yeah. I think they're gonna end up keeping, because it's a cheaper option for them.
Exactly. Yeah.
And they know both can do that. Jamal is a little bit of almost like he is a discount Aaron Jones.
Yeah, absolutely.
Play style, and then you still get AJ Dillon on a rookie contract. Packers O-line's only going to get better. Aaron Rodgers in that offense is only going to get better.
Yeah.
So no, I love the AJ Dillon. I wish I had him.
Yeah, I wish I had him too, because there's really I can't even buy high on him now. The AJ Dillon owner in our league is not. I've sent out offers and he's not buying, man. At least from again, trying to give you guys actionable advice here. Outside, when you're looking at rookie running backs, because rookie running backs are always, the excitement. Everyone wants a rookie running back. Looking at this 2021 class, outside of Harris, right, out of Najee Harris, outside of Travis Etienne, and outside of Javonte Williams, I have a hard time looking at other guys like a Ramondre Stevenson, like the guy, what's his name, the running back out of Memphis, Kenneth Gainwell, right? There's other guys out there, but none of them that I would prefer over AJ Dillon at this point.
Well, none of them have. There really isn't a big body bruiser in the draft that is high profiled as AJ Dillon is.
Sure.
The AJ Dillons, the Derrick Henrys, and the Leonard Fournettes, I kind of categorize. LeGarrette Blount is like the OG. Sure. Mike Allstott is the OG of this position.
Yeah.
I kind of categorize it as you're not going to get many of those guys. Mark Ingram fit this position where they're not like the guys that we love to watch are the fast, quick twitch guys that just the Barry Sanders type of people, the, things like that. Even young Todd Gurley was definitely in that category. But the thing is the big bruisers are the ones that, as long as they don't have big injuries, are the ones that stay in the league longer. Derrick Henry's a great example. LeGarrette Blount's a great example. I think Leonard Fournette's going to have a pretty long career because I think he is so talented that he elevates an offense when it really needs to happen. We saw this year within the playoffs. So I think, dude, I would probably trade, I have the 210. I'd probably trade any. Great.
Yeah, that was gonna be my question.
I would probably trade the 210. I'd probably trade the 210. I would probably trade anything 205 and higher to get AJ Dillon straight up.
Yeah.
Like if I could do the 205 and higher to get AJ Dillon, I totally would.
Yeah.
I would even do I would do both the 210 and I have the 210 and the 302. I'd probably do both of those for AJ Dillon.
I agree.
I think it's just that high of you can buy high, and it's still like buying a stock at it's
like buying Dogecoin, right? Buy high, right? It's just going to keep. Exactly. I hope it's not like buying Dogecoin, because I'm probably all my money's going to disappear. I'm with you, man, especially because I really do think as soon as Aaron Jones leaves, which I think there's probably a 75-80% chance of that happening, AJ Dillon's fantasy value is going to skyrocket. He's going to skyrocket. So if you're going to try to sell AJ Dillon, because I've seen questions like this, don't. Hold on to him until free agency and then sell him, because regardless, his value is going to increase. When it comes to all the guys we just talked about, even if they add a free agent and let their two running backs go, I really do think he has the most direct path to carries and targets, right? I really do think he will just step right up. So Buy him now, man. Buy him before free agency if possible. If the AJ Dillon owner's not really paying attention, he's just kind of coasting after the offseason, go start shooting out offers. Because personally, if I had an early second-round pick, I'd probably shoot it for him, just depending on team need. But yeah, hit me with it.
Question for you.
Yeah.
How high do you think his ceiling is?
That's an excellent question. I really do see him absolute ceiling because I don't know how much PPR work they're going to give him. Just because the nature of the position, like you said, I don't think he's a full-blown workhorse. He's kind of like his ceiling is a discounted Derrick Henry, right? Where Derrick Henry every year he's in mentally, at least, in that same category of ceiling as Derrick Henry, Nick Chubb, and Jonathan Taylor, right? These big bruising backs who are solid, great in between the tackles, likely between touchdowns and yardage and rushing yards. They'll probably finish, at his ceiling yearly as a top 10, top 8, top 6, maybe on a year with a lot of touchdowns running back per season. But I have a hard time seeing him. I could never say AJ Dillon will be the running back 1, right? I don't think he has that kind of upside, but I think he has the upside to be top 8, top 6 if things line up his way between the offense and whatnot. Yeah.
I ask you a question. I think I have my own answer.
Yeah.
Because I think that's a pretty good way, ceiling wise. I think my ceiling for him would be, in terms of fantasy output,
sure,
a guy just a solid RB2, putting up numbers like a Chris Carson year in year out.
Absolutely,
putting up numbers like, honestly, Mark Ingram's career would be pretty indicative of what I think he can do.
Yeah,
and I think his floor, just to let people know how high I am on this guy, I think his floor is at worst Jordan Howard.
There you go. Yeah.
And Jordan Howard was in the league for many years.
Yeah.
And I think that's his worst case scenario. And I don't think that that's going to happen.
Yeah. And again, Jordan Howard still had 1-2 years of legit fantasy production. So yeah, man, I like it. I really like it. All right. Go buy AJ Dillon if you can, man. Buy him high. That's what we're recommending. Let's go on to my second guy. A guy that I wasn't really on my radar at the beginning of the season, but by mid-season, man, I even sent out a trade offer yesterday trying to grab this guy, and I couldn't make the deal happen. That's for Darnell Mooney. Right, 5th round pick to the Bears in 2020 out of Tulane. When you look at his profile, right, and I'll throw it up on the screen for everybody, there's a couple things that stick out to me. One, he broke out at an incredibly young age. The man was only 18 years old when, according to Player Profiler, he broke out, which is something I personally love to see. This man is dummy fast. Like, this man is very, very quick. He ran a 4.38 40. Right. And you see that translate to the field. I love watching. As an Allen Robinson dynasty owner, I love watching Darnell Mooney out there. Oh my gosh, his routes are fantastic, right? Sorry, my brain just paused for a second. His routes are incredibly crispy, and he had a sneaky good rookie season, man. The poor guy, he was 11th in deep targets, 10th in unrealized air yards, right? And it all came down to quarterback play. The poor guy was 71st in catchable target rate. That, just to throw that out there, he was open. He was getting shots down the field, 71st in catchable target rate. And when you have Trubisky throwing you the ball, of course, right? And I'm going to throw this video up on the screen for everybody. It's a video. There's literally YouTube compilations of Trubisky launching the ball over Darnell Mooney's head, where he has makes an excellent cut, burns a cornerback, and the ball just sails over his head, man. If I'm Mooney, I'm freaking out mad at Trubisky because he was so open so many times. And this is how I see it, right? Former 5th round pick, incredibly fast, great route running. Allen Robinson's likely gone. Right. I feel like the Bears had such a long time to get a deal done with Allen Robinson, and they did it. Now there's a lot of rumors that Carson Wentz will be the quarterback for the Bears. And I get it, man. Carson Wentz is not the greatest quarterback ever, right? I'm not the biggest Carson Wentz fan. He's better than Trubisky, though. I'll tell you right now, I don't like Carson Wentz, but I will say something that's not even a hot take. Trubisky over Wentz, or Wentz over Trubisky 100 days a week, man. That's what I would do. So I really do think we could see a second-year breakout. If Allen Robinson's gone, we all know that Carson loves to air the ball out, right? I think he's someone that you need to buy before people start piecing it together, right? Before people start saying, wow, man, like he is incredibly fast. You'll see this compilation. Wow, he was really open. Now Carson Wentz is gone and Carson Wentz is here and Allen Robinson is gone. The man could see a lot of targets and a lot of targets down the field. So I don't know, man. Is Mooney someone who's even on your radar? What do you think overall about the Bears passing attack here moving forward?
I hate the Bears passing attack.
Yeah.
I hate the Bear. I was a huge Bears guy right after they got the Khalil Mack trade.
Oh,
so I was like, dude, this defense is going to be nasty. I go Darnell Savage, Eddie Jackson, Khalil, Floyd. I was like, this defense is nuts.
Yeah.
But then they just kind of let their roster go to shambles.
Yeah.
Letting Savage go to the Packers was the biggest mind-blowing.
I totally agree.
So ever since then, I've been such an anti-Bears guy.
Yeah.
That I can agree with buying Mooney because I think he's a great piece that they're at least going to see what they have for the rest of his contract, which he is just getting out of his rookie. So he's got at least 3 years.
Yeah. Yeah.
And if A-Rob isn't franchise tagged or whatever, I mean, target's got to go somewhere.
Well, Mooney saw 98 targets last season with A-Rob on the field. Right, so he could be he could end up in that 120 target range. And with his speed, there's some value there.
Dude, Trubisky is that bad.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like Trubisky is that bad. Like, and here's the thing. It's like you're dating a girl, the Bears right now. It's like you're dating a girl and you had a nice out. And it's almost like you were on The Bachelor and you had Deshaun Watson, you had Pat Mahomes, and then you got like this 4.
Yeah.
That's just kind of like stolen your heart because y'all had like a really nice trip to somewhere in the final 3 or whatever.
Yeah.
And you end up picking her and then you get there and you're like, yeah, those other 2 were way hotter and you're just not cool enough. I mean, and the thing is, you've got sunk cost fallacy kills the Bears.
Yeah.
So it's hard for me to be like, oh yeah, I'm going to buy in on the Bears because bringing in Carson Wentz is not the solution.
Well, bringing Carson Wentz does not fix their offensive line. Right, that's for sure. And their offensive line just is not one that I would be super excited for, right? So that's why he's a sleeper right now. That's why this is someone you can get on the cheap that has some potential upside. That's what
I like him as a player. I think he's a very fun, exciting player. Yeah. But I much rather would have seen, because it seems as if the Wentz is going to the Bears. Yeah. But I much rather see them bring in a Marcus Mariota or type of thing. Cause it's like, all right, well, let's just at least give this guy a shot. And then if it's not there, like bring a guy in for a year.
Yeah.
Cause it's not like the Bears roster is going to be winning anytime soon. So why even bring on the contract and shell the picks out to get one? It doesn't make sense to me, but I think the passing attack is going to get better.
Yeah.
Because I think they're going to have, regardless, I think the Bears are going to be like, all right, Wentz, whether or not you're good, you're our guy going into next year, and we're going to see what you got.
Yeah.
And that continuity is going to help the Bears.
You could put in anybody, and they'd probably be better than Trubisky.
God, I know, dude, I know.
So we'll see, man. I'm curious. Anyways, Mooney is someone that I'd like to try to buy right now. He's someone that I threw out a 3rd-round pick to go get. Could make it happen.
I would definitely pay a lot more to get A.J. Dillon than Mooney.
Oh, absolutely. Well, again, we're going deeper here. A.J. Dillon was the top. Like, we're in the kiddie pool.
I'm just letting people know. The most I would do for Mooney, I would, if I really like what the Bears do with their quarterback situation for whatever reason, I would. The 210 is the 20th pick is a great pick that I would be like, all right, do you want the pick? All right, I'll take this guy.
Yeah, at least Mooney has shown a little bit. At least he has a more clear path to targets. Absolutely, man. Absolutely. All right. Well, we're just going to keep swimming a little bit deeper, man. That's the whole point of this episode. Just keep going a little bit into those depths. Just keep swimming, man. This is a Nemo themed video for all you out there. And this is a guy, honestly, is probably not as deep as Darnell Mooney, but in that same tier. A guy you probably like since you're a Bucs fan, and that's Tyler Johnson. Tyler Johnson, who a rookie wide receiver for the
Bucs
champion Bucs, for the reigning Super Bowl winning Bucs. Again, he's a rookie wide receiver out of Minnesota. And there's one thing when I looked at his profile that really stuck out to me, right? It was his college dominator ranking. Right now, college dominator ranking is a ranking that Player Profiler will give you, and it combines your receiving yards and receiving touchdowns in college. Right, and like percentage wise of the entire roster you played on. Now, personally, I'm a big fan of Rashad Bateman. Right, I've liked his tape. He's someone that we're going to be talking a lot about moving forward here. And according to Rashad Bateman, who had a fantastic season right before Tyler Johnson entered the NFL, according to Player Profiler, if you have a college dominator ranking over 45%, in their words, it's extraordinary, right? That's amazing. Over 45% of your team's receiving yards and touchdowns, that's fantastic. Tyler Johnson had 57% of all Minnesota's receiving yards and receiving touchdowns his last year before he moved on into the NFL. And again, with Rashad Bateman, a guy, again, that I like, he's still dominated, man. So big fan of his, right? Big fan of his. He's 6'2", 206 pounds. He's a big dude, and he passes my eye test for me. And he's someone that was kind of been on the low. I've been keeping track of him on the DL, right? As we always do. That's why their sleepers are sleepers. And he had a fantastic catch against the Saints, where I just saw, his body control was fantastic, man. Now, we're not sure who the Bucs quarterback is for the long term, right? Again, the man's a rookie, so we're looking at his whole career here. But when it comes to his talent and the offense that he'll be playing on with the Bucs, and there's uncertainty. Will Chris Godwin be back next season? Will Antonio Brown be back next season? If they're both back, then Tyler Johnson's a 2022 investment, right? If they're both back, then I don't see a lot of productivity just between Mike Evans, Godwin, Gronk, Cameron Brate, Antonio Brown. Like, there's just so many. Scotty Miller's even seeing targets. There's just a couple too many mouths to feed for him to be productive in 2022. Or in 2021. But Tyler Johnson, man, keep an eye out for him. If either of those guys are gone, he could see some targets, and I think he has the talent to ball out with that. And if he doesn't, right, if both of those guys are back, then in 2022, which is when I predict Brady, Antonio Brown, and Gronk to leave the team, all of a sudden I think he'll fit into that. I just like the talent. I could see him starting to see some targets and come into his own. But if Godwin leaves, he's kind of a discounted Godwin in my eyes in a lot of different ways. Their play style is very similar. Anyways, man, you're the Bucs fan here. Talk to me about Tyler Johnson and where do you think where is his career going to go, I guess you can say.
You hit it on the head when you said what happens with Godwin and Antonio Brown.
Yeah.
That's really what it comes down to.
Sure. Yeah.
But here's the thing. If he isn't playing, he's not playing because he's behind Antonio Brown and Chris Godwin.
Yeah. It has nothing to do with his talent. Yeah.
Exactly. And it's just like, Rook, you'll get your shot.
Yeah.
Absolutely. But I know. And the thing is, the Bucs were not in a position to be drafting a receiver early.
Yeah.
They went O-line and they went defense pretty much to kick off the draft.
Yeah.
And so they were not in a position to be going receiver. But Bruce Arians was like, dude, I'm ecstatic to have Tyler Johnson. I think he was a 7th round pick.
A fifth round pick.
Fifth round pick. Third day. Mm-hmm. He goes, I'm ecstatic to be able to get a guy like him who they had as like a day 2 grade, a round 2, 3 type of guy in the 5th round. He goes, all right. Yeah. And that's how loaded that last year's class was.
Yeah.
Which is like, you're going to find quality depth across the board.
Yep.
The thing is, and you just got to go, who's going to be, how many years does Brady have and who's taking over afterwards is really what it comes down to.
Yeah.
And because you also got to think when Brady's done, Arians is probably done. Does Leftwich take over that job? Has Leftwich already left? I mean, that's the thing. When you buy Bucs that are going to be there for multiple years, you're just going to see a lot of, it's just a lot of uncertainty.
Sure.
Because the Bucs window, go ahead.
Bruce Arians came out of retirement, right, to come be a coach. He's not going to be a coach for the next 5 to 10 years, right? So I totally agree with your point. We don't know what the Bucs are going to look like in 2022. Absolutely.
You're buying the next 12 months.
Exactly.
And, if you want to buy in an awesome offense, this is it. But you also have to understand this offense is totally cool with running the ball 35 times.
Yeah.
The Bucs offense has been the only offense I've really seen every game. Every game, the Bucs will do that 1st and 10, 2 to 4 yard run.
Yeah.
And it's just keeping the change in schedule.
Yeah.
And so that's the thing. The Bucs, and I think Gronk and Evans and Godwin and Brown hurt because they play a more team mentality versus like the Packers. They're just like, all right, let's just throw it up to Devontae. He'll go get it.
Exactly. I really do think, regardless of who the quarterback or head coach is, I really do love the talent of Tyler Johnson. So
Totally.
it's possible because of his current upside that he's a little bit more expensive than like we all know that he could legitimately be, if AB and Chris Godwin are gone, I think Tyler Johnson has wide receiver 2 upside in 2021. That's how I see him. But if that doesn't happen, then he's riding my taxi squad, and I'm hoping in 2022 they have a suitable backup quarterback, and whoever comes in as the head coach, I believe in the talent that much. Again, talent over situation is something I try to keep in the back of my mind. So his range of outcomes is so aggressive, right? Because he's either going to be a wide receiver 2 next season or maybe see like 40, 50 targets on the year. So it's so anyways, regardless, I would try to buy him now because of next year's upside. I think the Bucs keep Godwin. Full disclosure, that's what I'm expecting to happen. But if they don't, then Tyler Johnson might ball. But we'll see. Anyways, that's my perspective. Any last thoughts here on Tyler Johnson before I move forward?
Going to be a really smart guy by the time he finally gets to shine, because he's learning with Brady. He's learning with three awesome vet receivers in front of him. Gronk's there. So, I mean, like, at the very least, you're buying the mental of what this guy can do. And honestly, if you can buy Scotty Miller, do. I don't know if he's on your list as well, but I think I think buying either of those guys is fun.
Yeah.
I don't know how promising it is in the near future, but fun nonetheless.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I love it, man. Yeah, I like it. And again, a talented guy. So someone that I would be making, again, mid to second round picks is something. I think the 210 is a perfect benchmark, right? Would we be trading the 210 to get Tyler Johnson? And it's tough because there's a lot of amazing wide receivers and quarterbacks in this upcoming class, but I wouldn't hate that trade. Right? I wouldn't hate that because of the potential upside.
Yeah, I don't think I'd pay anything higher than like maybe the 208, the 207.
Yeah.
Which if you can trade away Tyler Johnson for the 207, it's like, oh, I might do it.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's kind of a win-win situation, right? It depends. It all, like, I personally like the safer asset, but if you got someone who's, again, this is the rookie class to love, then I don't hate that either. Anyways, let's start, dude. We're getting deep, man. We're like, we got our freaking scuba gear on. We're just going. It's getting dark, right? It's getting real dark. We're gonna talk real quickly about Gabriel Davis. Right, I believe he was a rookie this past season for the Buffalo Bills, out of University of Central Florida, a Florida man like yourself. This is the reality, right? After week 11, he consistently saw 90% of the snaps, right? So he was on the field. I don't have a crazy amount of analysis really on a lot of these deep guys, just because, I mean, there's a reason that they're not on a lot of people's fantasy radar. But he just passed my eye test. Watching Gabriel Davis ball, just an enjoyable pastime, right? And he's getting a lot of hype across the internet. So the way I see it, Josh Allen's the real deal. John Brown is 31 years old and a free agent after 2021. Cole Beasley is under contract for a while, but he's 32 years old, right? So outside of Stephon Diggs, and unless they bring in another wide receiver, who else on that roster are we really going to think who's going to be that wide receiver too, right? And if we think Josh Allen's going to continue the ball the way he does, with Stephon Diggs taking all the attention of the defense, with him just out with a cannon of an arm, if you believe in Gabriel Davis's talent, he's probably someone that's likely on your waiver wire, man. Gabriel Davis, someone on your radar. Again, these are all deep, deep guys that we're talking about now.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, when you got the biggest thing for me when you got young guys is who's coaching them up.
Sure. Yeah.
Because this situation would be Stephon Diggs. Yeah. I mean, there are reports that Gabriel Davis is just soaking up everything Stephon's got to be given his way. Yeah. Great receiver to learn from, someone that knows what it's like to be drafted late in the draft, and
absolutely
just grind, dude. It doesn't matter what they say. Go get your money. Go make those plays. Go do what you got to do. Yeah. And I think Stephon's actually. I think Minnesota did him dirty, and I think he was a lot better.
Absolutely.
I would also be frustrated if I was Stephon Diggs and I had Kirk Cousins not throwing me the ball, and it's like, what are you doing, bro? I'm open. You know, so when it's I'd love the buy. If you can get him, love the buy, because I really do think
from here on out, I think everybody we're going to talk about, you can either pick up off your waiver wire or in your NFL, in your rookie draft, if you're in the 3rd, 4th round of your rookie draft, and people, and there's other people in your league who are getting excited about these players. I really do think Gabriel Davis is someone you can get in the third round, right? If you're sitting there on the board, don't really like anybody, I would shoot that offer out. See if you can't pick him up on the cheap. But we're not deep enough, man. We're just simply not. There's another 3 guys we got to talk about. The next one is Kelvin Harmon for the Washington football team. I mean, he is second-year player, tore his ACL prior to the 2020 season. But the man showed flashes, right? You watch a little bit of his tape in 2019. He showed flashes. It's more situational for me than it is talent-wise, because I'm not in love with Kelvin Harmon as a player. But if you look at the situation, I really do think the Washington football team is an up-and-coming offense. I think they upgrade at quarterback. They need to upgrade at wide receiver, but I'm not sure if they do. And if that's the case, then you have, scary Terry McLaurin on the outside, got Logan Thomas, who was kind of a target hog near the end of the season. And then Kelvin Harmon, I mean, he showed he could already kind of produce off and on as a flex play with terrible quarterback play back in 2019. So, he's someone who is getting a quarterback upgrade, potential opportunity, and is free, right? Someone who's on your waiver wire, someone who, if you have a taxi squad spot open, you could just throw there and kind of forget about it and see how it plays out. Kelvin Harmon, man, great question for you. Do you think the Washington football team adds a wide receiver this offseason here?
Definitely.
Okay. Yeah, it's possible. Definitely. They might not, but I mean, that's what we said about the Packers last offseason. They didn't, right? So there's always that chance. But anyways, I mean, yeah, he's just a bigger dude, right? He's someone they can use around the goal line. Like, again, not someone that I'm ecstatic about, but none of these guys are. That's the whole point, right? That's the whole point. 6'2", 220 pounds. I don't know, man. Is he someone that's even on your radar at all?
For my radar, I definitely watch and see.
Yeah.
I'm not necessarily clamoring over him, just because I do think that Washington does add a receiver to go with Terry McLaurin, because otherwise you're just wasting Scary Terry's talent.
Yeah. Yeah.
But, they could have, if he would have stayed healthy, he would have made some good plays this year.
I think so
too. Logan Thomas, no disrespect. Love the guy. Was a stud at Virginia Tech.
Yeah.
So much fun to watch.
Yeah.
He was like their second leading receiver.
Yeah, exactly. Yep.
Him and Gibson, it's like they need someone else. So if they only bring in like one big guy, or they bring in an average guy and then maybe draft a rookie, he shoots up. If they bring up someone that's like, they bring in like, for whatever reason, let's say they bring in like a Kenny Galladay.
Okay.
I'm like, okay, I'm not as hot on him, but he's a good still watch. But if they just draft a rookie and they're like, we'll go with our room, and then they draft a rookie, let's say they get a second, third round rookie.
Yeah.
I'd be like, okay, they must not completely hate their room. So
yeah,
we'll see. And you'll see a lot of how these first year head coaches, like Washington, like who else was a first year head coach this past year?
We got the Carolina Panthers right at a first year.
And you're going to see, that's a great one. You're going to see a lot of these teams that had first year head coaches really like strip rooms that they're not huge fans of and try to bring in a bunch of other dudes, especially if they got cap space. Just because I mean, even the Jets is a great example, just because they got so much room. But after you get especially after COVID, after you get a year with these guys, it's like, all right, I know who I want to keep on. I know who is probably we need to upgrade at, and so on and so forth. So I'm always curious to see the jumps by coaching staff between years 1 and 2 and between years 2 and 3.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
So yeah, man, I like it. He's a fun watch. If you got room.
Yeah, he is a fun watch. Him, and I feel the same about him and his teammate Antonio Gandy Golden. I feel the same way about both of them. If they add another wide receiver, then I'm probably not that excited about him. If they don't, and you have some roster space right now, just pick him up, throw him on your taxi squad. He's a guy that, again, I'd rather have him on my taxi squad than nobody. I think that's kind of where we're at with a lot of these guys, where we're just going so deep. There's a reason we're that deep. So if I'm you right now, I'm jumping on the Sleeper app and I'm looking up Kelvin Harmon, who again is probably on your waiver wire, and I'm clicking that little star button on Sleeper, put him on your watch list, right? Just in case anyone picks him up, you'll get notified, right? If you forget about him, which is entirely possible with a lot of these names, then when you open up Sleeper, he'll be there on your watch list, and you'll be like, wow, it's April and he's still on the waiver wire, and for whatever reason, the Washington football team didn't add anybody. Just go from there. All right. We're going to close. I got two more sleepers for you. Are you ready, man? This is going to be good, especially because they're both on the same team. And the second to last sleeper is a guy who just went on the trading block in our league, and that's Jalen Guyton. Chargers second-year wide receiver. If you look at his profile and player profile, it's decently impressive. And he was 83rd percentile in the 40-yard dash, 86th percentile in speed score, 86th percentile in catch radius, right? So he's fast and he can jump, which, I mean, as an analytics guy, those are two things that I love to see, man. Very strange fact. He was third in the league, third in the NFL in average target distance. Right. So you want to talk a guy that's burning down the field. He's the man, right? Every time he sees the ball, it's way down the field. Now, just because he was seeing bombs, he wasn't really seeing much else, and that hurt his stats. So with a lot of these super deep guys, typically they have one or two things going for them, but are missing like a couple more things that need to click for them really to come together, right? And Jalen Guyton's a great example of this, where on the season he played 80% of snaps. Really? He played 80% of snaps? I like, before I really dove into this, I didn't even really know his name. He played 80% of snaps, saw a lot of deep targets, but didn't see a lot of targets in general, right? So, again, this is another guy who you're sitting with your third or fourth round pick, probably wanting someone to just, again, sit on your taxi squad super late, because Justin Herbert has a cannon, right? That's just the reality. I love his arm strength. I love his arm talent in general. And Mike Williams is on a contract year. Right. So it's entirely possible that after 2021, Mike Williams is no longer a Charger. That's possible. Now, is it likely that they extend him or bring in another wide receiver? Entirely possible. But Jalen Guyton was already on the field, right? He was already seeing passes down the field. If he can just see slightly more targets, he can kind of be that last flex spot, boom bust guy. I think that's his ceiling, where he's your boom bust wide receiver 3 who has probably has a 30% chance on the season of catching a long touchdown and putting up, decent numbers. That's again, just kind of a guy that's out there. He's probably on your waiver wire guy. Again, we're going deep, man. We're getting to the point where it's like, there's those weird, what do they call it? Like big whales and whatnot. And they're fighting like the big freaking squids. That's where we're getting to here, man. And so a lot of again, there's not a lot of hype around these guys, but that's kind of the point, right? There's a reason they're out there. Did you even had you even heard of his name before? Like, I don't even.
Oh yeah. Where I'm at with it.
Yeah.
If I'm a Keenan Allen owner,
Okay.
I probably would have had this guy on my team like 4 months ago. If you're still a Keenan Allen owner, I would be trying to get him, because with guys you like to say that are injury prone but really good, Keenan Allen could fit into that category.
Yeah.
Why not just go get who their backup's going to be, especially if you like who their quarterback is?
I feel the same way with Mike Williams, right? If I'm the Mike Williams owner, then I'm owning this guy, and then I'm owning Jalen Guyton as well.
Yeah, that's just because one injury, left, right, ankle, knee, and we know the Chargers, they're always getting hurt.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
So it's like, so that's why I like guys that have high upside.
Yeah.
If I know that I can see them ball and they're comfortable being on the field. He plays a lot of snaps. He had some really good opportunities. He was working with a rookie quarterback.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Didn't play much his rookie season, right? This past year was his second year. So, again, a lot of wide receivers take some time to develop, right? Not every wide receiver is going to be Justin Jefferson, especially these late guys.
The only thing, new coaching staff.
Yeah, that's a great point. That's an excellent point. Yeah.
It's a double-edged sword.
Yeah.
Okay. When you got a new coaching staff, one, it's like, okay, new chance to make a name for myself. Just got to impress the new guys, and that's it. And then it's like, how can we let this guy go? He goes, well,
yeah.
But also double-edged sword. Assumptions can be made extremely quickly. And if you know that you're not like, I just need to make the team this year because next year I know I'll contribute. That's where you kind of get lost in the sauce. Yeah. So hopefully
he was undrafted. He was undrafted. So that even another red flag.
Exactly.
Right? Yeah. Sure.
Yeah. So, man. But if he makes the roster.
Yeah.
So I'm not saying he would. I'm not saying he doesn't have the talent, but if he makes the roster, which I think he would, I think they'd be dumb to get rid of a good, solid piece behind them at receiver.
Yeah.
But I mean, again, I'm not jumping through hoops for this guy. But
No.
if I
None of
owned
these
Keenan
guys.
Allen or Mike
Yeah.
Williams, I would own them on the
Yeah.
basis that it's a great. If Keenan Allen for whatever reason gets ruled out game time decision, you at least have something to throw in.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. I'm the same.
It's like
Yeah.
owning Traquan Smith if you got Michael Thomas.
Yeah. Yeah. I think he's in a very similar category. And so it really comes down to what happens to Mike Williams, in my opinion. That's the only reason he'd be on my taxi squad is if he takes a step forward next season, because I think he has the talent to do so. And if Mike Williams doesn't stay after 2020. So again, we're to the point now where these are taxi squad guys, right? These are guys that statistically speaking, chances are won't ever break out, but they have a path and the talent to potentially do so. So let's talk about my last guy, again, a Charger. And to get to this point, we're going to have to go in a literal submarine, right? We're going to have to break the records for how deep you can go in the freaking ocean. Like, it's getting creepy at this point, man. I'm going to throw out a name here, and it's tight end. We talked a lot of wide receivers, talked about a running back, talked about a tight end today, and that's Donald Parham. Donald Parham. Have you ever heard of him before?
This guy's fun.
So, ladies and gentlemen, I'll ask you, I saved him for last because this is a guy, of all this list, I'm decently excited. I'm genuinely excited about this man. I'll just ask you a question. Have you ever wanted a literal giant on your dynasty roster? Have you ever been sitting here like, I wonder what it would like to have a literal giant on my roster? The man, Donald Parham, is 6'8", 240 pounds, man. This man is just a statue, and he is huge. He was in the 92nd percentile, of course, in catch radius. If I'm any head coach, I'm like, hey, Donald, go stand in the corner of the end zone, and I'll just toss it up to you. Just like jump up and catch it. Like, that's all you need to do. The man is so big, right? 23 years old, went undrafted, right? But he played in the XFL for the Dallas Renegades. And we want to go to a good time, man. Go look up Donald Parham's highlights for the Renegades. Then he kind of jumped around from team to team, practice squad to practice squad. Finally got signed by the Chargers and didn't look bad, man. It didn't look bad. Like, he actually had a couple flashes, a couple good catches with I think he scored a couple touchdowns even with the Chargers throughout the season. Mike Williams is in a contract year. Hunter Henry is a free agent this year, right? There's no guarantee that Hunter Henry's back, and Donald Parham just by default is the backup tight end. So I like, if Hunter Henry's gone and Donald steps up, like, he legitimately could produce next season. Now, we don't know if that's going to happen, right? And the reality is rookie tight ends always struggle. I mean, the man was literally thrown into the NFL midseason coming from the XFL, didn't have an offseason regardless of COVID to actually develop chemistry to get to the NFL speed. But just give this man some time to develop, right? As soon as our draft ends, he's someone I'm going to pick up the night after our rookie draft and throw him on my roster because, again, Justin Herbert now has a literal giant to throw to in the end zone. The man is so large. Anyways, you said you'd heard of him before. Let's bring up some hype, man. What are your thoughts here on Donald Parham?
The dude can move.
For a giant, he can move, man. Yeah. Continue.
He's got great feet.
Yeah.
A guy that I don't know, but he had to have played basketball. I think he is a basketball convert.
Yeah.
Which I love. I love basketball converts.
Oh yeah.
There's two things I love. I love a quarterback that's played baseball.
Sure.
And I love a receiver or a tight end that has played basketball.
Oh yeah.
It's just what I love because you can't play basketball and have slow feet.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
You got to be athletic. You can't be awful and play. I mean, you got to be able to move and play basketball.
Absolutely.
Yeah, this dude can move. He's fun to watch.
Yep.
And easy guy to root for. If you're looking for some tight end depth, I mean, because again, tight ends are the things to invest in because they're 4 to 5. They're the long-term investments in a dynasty.
Absolutely.
Team. You know. Very rarely do you see a guy like the best young tight end right now is Hawkinson and Fant
and Kyle Pitts, baby. Let's go.
But outside of go ahead.
Well, if I'm the Travis Kelce owner, then Donald Parham's on my taxi squad. That's just the reality of it. Because even if you have a top tier tight end like a Travis Kelce, even like a Darren Waller, who's not old by any stretch of the means, but you never know what their long-term future could look like. I want a tight end like Donald Parham who has the size and the talent on the offense, and he's chilling on my taxi squad. Right? I don't need him right now, but in 2-3 years from now, let's see what happens. Let's see if he develops. And when I need a starter, he's sitting there waiting for me. That's my strategy, anyways. Yeah, yeah.
I agree. No,
I love it,
especially with the tight end position.
Yeah.
It's the one of running backs waste.
Yeah.
Receivers worth it. Tight ends, like honestly, it should be a motto of you only having tight ends on your taxi squad.
Yeah, I wouldn't hate it, man. I really, especially if you're have a top tier guy. Like me personally, I kind of play the streaming game with my tight ends, which isn't the most effective. But I honestly, and I'm not just saying this, what's his upside out of all these guys? I really do think if Hunter Henry's not back next year, Donald Parham could catch double-digit touchdowns next season. I really do see that potentially happening. Or, okay, he's maybe that will put him as a top 10 tight end, which isn't fantastic. But if you need a guy who can get off the waiver wire, who you just want to catch a touchdown, get you those 6 points, Donald Parham's your guy, man. I love it. I absolutely love it, man.
I don't hate it either.
Especially, I love seeing guys come from the XFL too. Guys that you and I've talked about this before. Guys who know what it means to work your ass off to get the position they're in. Right? That I love players like that. Players who don't take it for granted to be in the position they're in. Anyways, dude, those are the sleepers, man. What would we talk about? 6, 7, 8 guys? I don't know, but those are some pretty deep names. Deep to the point where Noah and I are kind of like, yeah, I mean, that's going to be the general feeling. It's like, yeah, throw them on your roster, see what happens. Right? See what happens. This is how you make a dominant dynasty roster, man. I really do believe it.
Well, it's just how you keep yourself from getting into a place where it's like, okay, I can't start him. You know, you at least got options moving down the train.
Yep.
Because if you don't always have, like, if the bottom of your dynasty roster isn't just future guys, like just future guys, and you got to be okay with dropping some vets at some point in time.
Sure.
Just literally trading for like whatever.
Yeah.
Like if I got to the, like, it's just at some point, it's just like, yeah, either I keep you forever and you hold up a roster, because it's not even about, oh, I want this person on my roster forever. It's this person's taking up a roster spot. What's he worth?
Exactly. You and I had this conversation last episode, man. I had Jordan Howard on my team, right? Jordan Howard, who's kind of a bigger name, who really doesn't have a team right now, but I dropped him, even though he's still only, 25, 26, like, because I have a hard time seeing any upside with him, and he was clogging my roster. I would drop him for a guy like Gabriel Davis right now. Right, absolutely. I love the upside of the potential future wide receiver, talented wide receiver 2 for the Bills. Then what is he going to be? A touchdown dependent committee running back? Like that, you're 100% on the money, man. I want these young guys on my roster that could develop into something more. 100%.
It's just,
yeah.
What, like you said, what's it gonna do for your team?
Yeah.
And you just got to keep thinking forward with these young guys, and just getting guys that are going to have a chance to have better opportunities. You know what you're getting out of Jordan Howard.
Yeah.
But what I was going to say is, I mean, there are a handful of teams in our league that I look at their team and I go, how is this guy still on a roster?
Yeah. Oh yeah. There's
and
so
I'm like,
many. Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, I have Malcolm Perry on my roster just because and he's a guy that I'm going to end up dropping. It is just what it is. I needed the quarterback depth.
Don't do that. Okay, but he's a quarterback. You can have Malcolm Perry on your roster.
I know.
I know it's going to hurt to drop him, though, just for you. I know how much you love him.
He's just fun. And again, he could be a taxi squad guy next year, but probably not.
I don't hate it.
Probably
it's going to be tough because a lot of these guys, my biggest fear for the viewer here is a lot of these guys we named will be dropped after your rookie draft. And unfortunately, you're going to be in a very similar position where you just added 3-4 new guys to your roster, and you're looking at your roster as a whole, and you're like, well, I got to drop somebody. And so I think these guys will be available, right? You don't necessarily need to trade for a lot of these guys because you can probably get them after they're dropped. But things to keep in mind, man. Things to keep in mind, because I don't think necessarily. I mean, a lot of these rookie wide receivers I would take over Kelvin Harmon and Jalen Guyton, sure. Right. But if I have a couple extra taxi squads, those are the deep guys we're talking about that you want on there for sure. For sure. Guys, that's all from us, man. Again, if you're new, subscribe to the channel. We're just about past 400. Let's go, man. I feel like it was yesterday we're at 30 subscribers. Come a long way. What, fastest growing Dynasty channel in the world? Absolutely. Right. In YouTube, at least. in the freaking universe. Absolutely, man. I love it. Now,
to the moon, dude.
To the moon. Go invest in Dogecoin. Just kidding. I'm not a financial advisor. Everyone's going to lose a lot of money and hate me in the comments. It's fine. I appreciate you all, and we'll see you next time. We're going to be talking rookies here soon, man. See you next time. Peace.